pushed his way out and he was a butterfly. Oh. You want the other book, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Back in a second, babe.
Herbie, have you seen the book that Franklin loves? Not that one. We did that one yesterday, and I know he loves it, but here we are. It's here. See, we're going for something a little bit more fun today, yeah?
We should tell him the truth.
Our final member, Professor Charles Xavier.
How Strange died. Our Strange did not die defeating Thanos. We were at war. While the rest of us banded together to try to stop Thanos, Stephen, as always, chose to go it alone.
He turned to the Darkhold.
A weapon we did use together. But one final threat remained. I shall miss you, my friend.
The statue.
Should you manage to escape this chamber, you must guide America Chavez.
What the hell are you saying?
Save the girl and get to the Book of Vishanti. I believe we can. We will see what kind of Doctor Strange you are. Enough! Wanda Maximoff, your mind is being held hostage by your alternate self. Grab my hand. Perhaps if I can pull you from under the rubble, the spell will break.
Welcome to Mr. Screen. At some point, all fans of the MCU and Marvel Comics know that there will still be a conflict between the X-Men and the Avengers. With that, I now bring the connection up between the X-Men universe and the Avengers. Is it Professor X's fault for what is happening to Tony Stark? Without further ado, let's get straight to the point. Charles Xavier Mistaka. After the Avengers' victory against Thanos, the world was still in shock over the loss of Tony Stark. The man who sacrificed his life to ensure the safety of the universe was now remembered as a martyr, an unparalleled hero. However, in a secluded corner of the X-Mansion, Professor Charles Xavier observed the mental waves of the universe with growing concern. In the mansion's secret laboratory, Charles connected to Cerebro, the device that amplified his telepathic abilities to cosmic levels. He had done this countless times to monitor the natural order of the universe, but this time something was wrong. The temporal and mental waves were in disarray, and he realized something that filled him with fear. Tony Stark's death, which seemed to be the key event in Thanos' defeat, had caused an imbalance in the parallel universes. Xavier could see a growing threat, something that was approaching quickly and inevitably. Stark's absence was triggering a collapse in the barriers between realities. The sacrifice that Tony had made, instead of restoring balance, had opened a wound in the fabric of the multiverse. Convinced that the only way to save the multiverse was to bring Tony Stark back to life, Xavier began to prepare a plan. He knew that playing with death and time was dangerous, but he believed that he had the necessary control to manipulate events in order to guarantee the balance of the universes. With the help of Magneto, who had allied himself with the X-Men after the fight against Thanos, and his most advanced students, Xavier began to devise a way to resurrect Tony. However, Charles made a fatal mistake. He had not foreseen that this action would open the door to something much darker. The return of Stark. Xavier and Magneto used a combination of mutant technology and magic to access the rifts in the multiverse. The process was risky, but they were ultimately able to bring Tony Stark back to life. Upon materializing, Tony appeared disoriented, confused, and in shock. The memories of his death and sacrifice were still fresh, and he couldn't quite make sense of what was happening. Charles, Tony asked, recognizing Professor X immediately. I died. How am I here? Charles approached cautiously. Yes, Tony, you did. But your absence caused an imbalance in the multiverse. I had to bring you back. The universe needs you to keep functioning properly. Tony was silent for a moment, processing what Charles had said. He had always trusted Professor X and his wisdom, but something about the situation felt off. You should be dead, a cold, unfamiliar voice echoed inside Tony's mind. Before he could react, a sharp pain shot through his head, and Tony felt something invade his mind. It wasn't just a presence. It was something darker, something older, something that had been waiting for this moment. Victor Von Doom's plan. In the timeline from which Tony had been rescued, another genius was watching and waiting. Victor Von Doom, the ruler of Latveria and one of the most dangerous villains in the multiverse, had always had a plan. While the heroes fought Thanos, Doom was preparing for something much bigger. He knew that the death of Tony Stark, the smartest and most inventive man on Earth, would create a unique opportunity. Doom had discovered, through his own experiments with a multiverse, that Tony Stark was essential to maintaining the balance of realities. Doom, with his combination of magic and science, planned to merge with Stark and, in doing so, conquer not only Earth, but all timelines. When Xavier brought Tony back, he inadvertently opened the door for Doom. Doom's mind invaded Stark's, taking advantage of his newly created vulnerability. Now the two were locked in a battle of the minds, with Doom slowly taking control. At first, Tony tried to resist, but the merger was complete. Doom, with his knowledge of magic, had prepared an enchantment that made it impossible for Stark to escape. The two were now one entity, a fusion of the world's greatest intellects with ambitions far beyond anything the Avengers could have foreseen. I am more than just a man now, Doom thought, feeling Stark's power flow through him. I am the ruler of all realities. The rise of a new Dr. Doom. With the fusion complete, Doom took control of Tony Stark's body. He used the resources of Stark Industries and his own magic to create a suit of armor that combined Stark's advanced technology with Doom's mystical power. This new Dr. Doom was infinitely more powerful than any of his predecessors. His first move was simple but devastating. Eliminate any remaining resistance. Doom, with Tony's strategic mind and Victor's ruthlessness, knew he had to eliminate the threats before they had a chance to regroup. And his first target was Xavier. Without warning, Doom appeared at the X-Mansion. Charles, sensing the overwhelming presence, tried to use his telepathic abilities to communicate with Tony, but he soon realized that he was no longer dealing with a man he had once known. Dr. Stark? No, Victor Doom, Xavier said, looking at the imposing figure approaching. What we did was a mistake. We must correct it. Doom simply smiled. You don't understand, Charles. What you did was set me free. I am now the ultimate being. Neither you, nor the Avengers, nor any other hero can stop me. Xavier tried to use Cerebro to neutralize Doom, but it was in vain. With a simple gesture, Doom destroyed Cerebro and immobilized Xavier, leaving him unable to move. Thank you, Charles. Thanks to you, the multiverse is now under my control, Doom said before disappearing into a portal, leaving the mansion in ruins and Xavier in despair. The rise of the ultimate villain as Doom took control of multiple realities, the Avengers began to realize that something was terribly wrong. Reports of rifts in time and space were surfacing everywhere, and Tony Stark, whom they believed dead, was back, but as their most deadly enemy. Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, reassembled the team. Something is very wrong. Tony, or whatever he has become, is out of control. We have to stop him. Peter Parker, still devastated by the loss of Stark, struggled with his emotions. Mr. Stark would never do this. There must be a way to bring him back. Doctor Strange, now one of the few capable of understanding the ramifications of the multiverse, calmly spoke. This is no longer the Tony we know. Doom has taken over. We must be ready to face not only Stark's technology, but Doom's mystical arts as well. The Avengers, now more united than ever, prepared to face the new threat. However, what they did not know was that Doom was already several steps ahead. Using Tony's vast knowledge of the multiverse, he began to control and manipulate entire realities. The collapse of the Avengers, the final battle, took place in an alternate reality, a fusion of several timelines that Doom had shaped to his advantage. When the Avengers arrived, they quickly realized they were outmatched. Doom awaited them with a legion of alternate versions of himself, all equally powerful. Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes led the charge, while Doctor Strange attempted to use his magic to undo the time barriers Doom had erected. Peter Parker, still clinging to the hope of saving Stark, tried to appeal to the humanity he believed still existed within him. Mr. Stark, please, it doesn't have to be this way. I know you're in there somewhere. But the voice that answered was cold and unforgiving. Tony Stark is dead, Parker. Now, there is only Doom. One by one, the Avengers were struck down. Doom's combined abilities were too much for them. Even with all their might, they could not overcome Stark's ruthless intelligence and Doom's mystical power. Doom's warning when the battle was over, the Avengers lay defeated, lying on the ground. Doom, now the supreme ruler of all realities, looked down at them with contempt. You still don't understand, he said. I am the future. You are but relics of a time gone by. Doctor Strange, the only one still able to stand, looked at Doom and asked, What now? What do you want? Doom smiled beneath his iron mask. I have what I want, Stephen. The multiverse is mine. You may live for now. But know this, any attempt to defy me will result in the complete extinction of your reality. With those words, Doom disappeared, leaving the Avengers to deal with the aftermath of their defeat. The end and the beginning as the Avengers struggled to recover, a sense of hopelessness hung over them. Doom had become an invincible foe, and with the merger of Stark and Doom, the multiverse was in their hands. But all was not lost. Doctor Strange knew there was a way, a chance to undo Xavier's mistake and save Stark and the multiverse. However, it would require even greater sacrifices than those that had already been made. We need time, he said calmly. And more importantly, we need help from beyond this universe. The battle against Doom had only just begun. So these are our theoretical points. What do you think of all this? Could Professor Xavier be to blame for all this? Don't forget to leave a comment with your opinion, click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I'm Mr. Screen and see you soon. Bye.